Welcome to the second level, and our first challenge is a bunch of clay statues that come to life. They have two defining characteristics. One, there are a lot of them, and two, their spears break into two pieces, so you have to either hit them twice, or hit them near the middle so both pieces break at once. There are two health pickups in this area, yeah, right here, so as long as we don't get hit twice, we're good. Sometimes the game is going to ask us to move to the left, and the arrow up there at the top will always show us where we're supposed to go, even though you shouldn't be getting lost. It's not like this game is complicated. This thing shoots lightning in a weird arc, but you should get the idea of how it moves after just looking at it briefly. And down here, these two statues will fire jade bullets at us, which we can easily destroy with our saber, even if it wasn't powered up, which it is. Now it's time for some more lightning, which is actually difficult to dodge. We need to use our slide kick to get past it, because just walking into those claws is a bad idea. But we have to slide from just the right position, otherwise we risk bumping into the lightning claw on the other side of the one we're dodging through. As long as you have a rough estimate of how far your slide will take you, it shouldn't be too hard. And I hope you're ready for some more lightning, because these little lightning rods shoot lightning out. But it's in an arc that has a perfect little spot for us to stand where we'll be safe. And now it's about mini-boss time. We can see there's a statue in the background, and the head detaches. It's a shame, I kinda wanted to fight the whole body. The head floats in a wavy drunk pattern from left to right, and it can be kind of difficult to predict. It also fires wads of bubblegum at us that we can destroy. The most difficult thing is being able to hit it without getting hit yourself, because your attacks don't stop it dead in the air or anything like that. A small statue guarding this extra life, but we just slide kicked right into it. And now it's time for the second half of the level. The background is very vibrant and colorful, and there are these jerks flying around on clouds that will jump down and try to attack us. I find it's easier to hit them in the air, because they're much faster on the ground. It's also easier to hit them with your saber than with your air attack, so even though I'm doing that here to show it off, you should probably just stick with the saber. Has a much bigger range on it. The clay warriors are back, and they are again in large numbers. I could have solved this little issue by just using the slide kick more often, but mistakes were made. And here's our anime rival. This guy is Kurtz. He was an android like us created to stop the evil Dr. Bruford. And he has a really complex moveset that is difficult to dodge, and it's really hard to read his movements. So we're just going to spam our special attacks at him over and over until he goes down. Keep in mind, it's not impossible to read his movements, and he behaves a certain way depending on how far you are from him. But when all is said and done, it's so much easier just to spam our special attacks at him. It's not like we didn't have plenty. And now we're back to these jerks on the clouds. This is the point where they get mixed in with the clay warriors, which makes them somewhat more formidable. But eventually we'll just be fighting them alone again, and that makes them rather easy. The most difficult thing about them is that when they're on the ground, you have to swing earlier than you think you would, because they're a bit faster than most enemies. Now we get to climb this pretty cool spire, and there are a lot of these cloud guys flying around it. This is probably the best environment for them to be in, really, but they're still easy to defeat even then. I do like that the camera pans way up when you're standing on the very top of the spire. And now it's platforming time. There hasn't been a lot of that so far in this level. We are also capable of hanging from and climbing on these twisty-turny platforms, but there's no need for that, really. This fire hazard is a lot like the lightning hazard we saw earlier, only even more straightforward. And yes, we can hang on these things, thankfully. Makes it a lot easier to avoid their attacks. If you can call them attacks. Whenever there is platforming, it tends to be kind of easy because it's possible to hang on literally every surface. Later levels in the game do get more challenging, but they never graduate to what you would expect from a normal retro 2D platformer. And here's the most devastating mini-boss in the game. This guy is just out of this world difficult. I died so many times here. I don't know what they were thinking putting this huge difficulty spike here like this, but it's a miracle I made it through. I highly doubt that anyone besides me has seen the game past this point. This is just too much. Phew, that was a doozy. And there's a life up here that gives us 2 extra hit points instead of 1. And we ascend the slow slope to the boss of the level. I actually really like this slope because it really changes the way you have to fight the enemies. It's a lot more difficult if you play as the other character who doesn't have a vertical attack. I mean, I say it changes the way we have to fight enemies, but I'm still just pressing the Y button a lot. And now it's time for the boss fight that is the easiest to cheese in the entire game. It's kind of embarrassing. So let's do some trivia instead. This boss fight was supposed to be a regular lady, but Nintendo got angry about violence against women, so they made it a dead lady.